Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
On today's episode of Don't Blame Me, we have Hannah Hart, and we've got 2 calls about porn on this one. So if you had some feelings about the call, about the episode with Taylor with lots of porn in it, get excited because there's even more porn in this one. And we also have somebody who's calling in about a change of life situation with breakup and job and having to move back home and figuring out how to start over again. So it's a good one. We talk a lot, and there's a lot of porn. So, I mean, there's not porn in the episode we talk about porn. That'd be weird. Keep watching. And we're here, guys. Welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today's fantastic guest is Hannah Hart.
Hello, that's me.
And
Yes.
if you're watching on YouTube, there's a chance she might be a floating head.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. So for those of you watching with your eyeballs instead of listening with your ear parts, I'm sitting on a blue couch wearing a blue sweatshirt. And I just have to say that I did see the note in the calendar. It said, don't wear royal blue, but I was already dressed and I then just ignored it and got in my car.
We love a floating head.
Yeah. Sorry, Charlie. There's a heart on it. This is actually my
cute.
sweatshirt. This is a
Is
Harto.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Promo that. I should have worn my own shit, too.
Yeah. I just kind of like it.
No, that's good. I really like it. I was going to say it's cute. Where'd you get it from?
Well, you can get it on Amazon.com/Hannah Hart. I feel like, look, I just met you today and I didn't know anything about you, but I feel like our brains probably think really similarly.
Well, so we already established we both have ADHD.
Yeah, I guess that might be it
It
too.
probably is. Our brains are just like,
Right, because we're both like, what is the difference between this and this? Let me look this up.
Oh.
Do you have ADHD, Melissa?
I do not.
That's why she does what she does, because she can keep me on track.
Does your partner or your boyfriend? Or?
No. He's like very calm.
Does he understand it? Does he?
Fully. He,
Okay.
if not, he's also very understanding of it. And will like if we're getting ready for something and he knows like it's early in the morning, like it hasn't kicked in yet, he kind of just like follows me through my routine. And so we just went to a wedding and I was like getting ready and he had like packed my purse for me and like brought my shoes into the room, and as I'm like, I didn't even realize he's like helping me put my shoes on into all of this stuff,
And you're like, oh my God, we're leaving on time.
Yeah, exactly.
This is amazing.
And I was like, this is so great, go me. And he's like, yeah, I did a lot of
Man.
that. So
I think it's really important when you are in like a committed relationship with somebody and you have something like ADHD or depression or anything like that to like really have conversations with them about it. There's a great book called Driven to Distraction, which is about is for adults with ADHD. And it talks about factors like your finances, your relationships, like all the aspects of it. Because I was diagnosed as a kid, but we didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, same.
I just like, and then as an adult, I was like, I think something's not right. Yeah. So what's this podcast about?
Oh my God, good segue. Well, this is an advice podcast, and people call in and they leave us voicemails and they tell us things about their life and we give them some advice.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So don't worry. And they're also not on the phone. Like we don't call them back. So you can be harsh, which I tend to be. I'm very tough love. And as I've been, I don't read like we have like transcriptions of the calls, but we also have like summaries. So I just read the summaries when we like go through and pick questions for this. And I would just like to say, based on some of these summaries, you guys are being a little savage to me because everybody's like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say dun, 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 dun. And I'm like, well, first of all, fuck you. You're not always going to say that.
And why would you call if you already know what she's going to say?
Exactly. I hate when people are like, well, okay, don't say this. I'm like, well, I mean, you think that's probably true. And that's fine.
You guys' strategy for your listeners is negging them.
Well, no, it's being real.
Being super real.
Yeah.
Like if your friends won't tell you the truth, like I'm here to tell you, like I will tell my friends still only come to me for advice, like in selective specific situations, because like Do I want to hear what she has to say?
I'm a big fan of the unsolicited advice and opinion.
And this time it's solicited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God.
There's another podcast I heard of for the first time called Don't At Me, which I was like, that is a brilliant name for a podcast.
Oh, that's so funny.
You know, which is like, I'm going to talk. Here's what I think. Don't at me.
I love that.
Yeah. And another great podcast is Analyze This.
Hey.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was really good. Today's episode, we actually just released a new one, is all about bisexuality.
Oh, cool.
And I think it's one of the best episodes we've ever recorded.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. So you guys can check that out. It's Analyze This, the self-help podcast that just can't help itself.
Good tagline.
Thanks, bruh.
Oh, fantastic. If you guys are new here and you haven't subscribed yet on iTunes or SoundCloud and all that stuff, you go to don'tblameme.show. You can check that out. And if you want to call in for a future episode, you can do that by calling the number 310-694-0976.
Love
Was that
it.
too many numbers?
No, that was perfect.
Wow, it felt like a lot of numbers.
Is it .show SHO or SHOW?
W?
Huh.
I wish it was .fushow. Oh shit, Melissa. Oh, wait, I forgot to introduce you. But guys, yes, if you're not watching on YouTube and you can't see her pretty face, what the fuck are you doing?
Hello.
It's still my favorite comments. You guys are still constantly like, she's so pretty. I think we've established we're both very into giving unsolicited advice, and now we get to give solicited advice.
Yeah, baby.
It feels good. It feels good.
I love it. I love it so much. Also, a quick disclaimer. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't blame me. That's what it is.
Don't blame me.
That's exactly.
the name of
That's
the
why.
show.
Oh
Yeah.
man, you guys know that Taylor Swift song, Don't Blame Me.
It came out after, and people were telling me, they're like, I'm pretty sure she must listen to podcasts. I'm like, she definitely doesn't, but it is nice.
Taylor Swift, if you're listening to this podcast, good on you. Hello, hi, Hannah, big fan.
Give us the rights to your song for a theme song.
What's your rating? No
Cunty,
swearing.
cunt, fuck, shitty, titty balls.
So you're
Once you
explicit
listen,
too.
yeah, once you listen to the questions, you'll be like,
Love
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We talk about foreskin a lot.
Oh, yum.
Everybody's favorite
I don't know. Is
topic.
that the heterosexual reaction to
No.
foreskin?
No,
Nope.
it's
You don't say yum.
no,
Nope.
you
I
whatever
don't even
you're
say yum dick. Like,
yummy dick.
Yum dick. Yum.
yum dick.
I mean, some people do.
Some people do, yeah.
Some people do. I'm and no hate, don't blame me, but I'm always so surprised when somebody's like, I love giving a blowjob. I'm always like, huh.
I do.
I love giving a blowjob.
Yeah.
Boom.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yum dick.
Yum dick. Well, let's play the first call, guys.
Hey, Megan. So I'm 20. I'm a junior in college this coming fall. Super excited. So I've been thinking about something for I guess a year now, and I haven't said this out loud to anyone. So I kind of wanted to ask you because I don't have a sister. But here I have two brothers, and I don't think I could ask either of them this. So I watch porn and I masturbate because I don't feel like I have to go to a man, to have my needs taken care of. They just don't. But when I watch porn, there are male, female, whatever. But a lot of the times it is lesbian or girl-on-girl porn, and I don't know if that because I identify as a straight, white woman, and so part of me wonders is I'm attracted to men, but when I want to get off, I watch women, and so I don't know if that if that changes or if it matters at all, but I don't know. I just have been confused about it. I don't know if that means I'm bi or what, but any advice from a sister would be really nice. Thank you.
Oh my God. What a sweetheart.
That was really sweet. I also love everyone calls from their car.
Because they don't want anybody else to hear it.
It's a privacy and I love being able to hear their voices.
Isn't it great? First of all, from this call, I don't know where I read this at all, but that, I really have I can't cite the source, but from as long as I can remember, I've been told that heterosexual men usually majority of heterosexual men get off on male female porn or girl on girl porn, and then women are what can get aroused. Women who identify as straight can be aroused by girl on girl porn as well as male, like guy on guy porn and heterosexual porn. Like women's are just more susceptible. I don't know what.
Yeah, it was a big article in the Huffington Post about it.
I got to read this article because in my head, I'm always just like, whatever turns you on, whatever magical formula helps you get off is great. And it could be whatever. Like, I identify as a queer person and I've watched guy on guy porn and been like, this is fucking hot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ironically, girl on girl porn, I don't really enjoy that much, but my partner who identifies as bisexual, she loves girl on girl porn. And it's like, I just don't think it's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really proud of this person for being able to like masturbate at 20 and like take care of themselves. You know what I mean? Because like
So we preach it. Therapy and masturbation.
Masturbation's huge. And I didn't have an orgasm until I was like way older.
Yeah.
You know? Like probably around 21, 22. Not way older, but I never masturbated as a kid. I didn't masturbate until I had already become.
We are the same person. We are just officially the same person.
Boom.
And I was always very sexually confident, but like I just didn't. I know that's a lie. I was never like pressured into feeling like I shouldn't be sexual. Like it was very encouraged. I would say potentially overly encouraged in my life. And so I think that for me, I had a big issue with. I had more of an issue of like seeking attention and validation from people and not more about that than like my own
than
pleasure
like where
or whatever.
you were in the experience.
And so I think like where she's at is amazing because it took me so long to be like, oh yeah, wow, I don't need a partner to get off or to have like sexual satisfaction at all. Like that's not necessary. It's not a necessary thing.
It's such a benefit to masturbate because then when you do start having sex with a partner, you can tell them what your body is all about.
Yeah.
Like otherwise,
If you don't know yourself, how will they know you?
right. And then and that can make you feel really like insecure and shy if you're trying to discover yourself with another person. Like that's a lot of trust and a lot of communication. So sometimes it's just kind of like, why don't you just go figure yourself out and then just tell me what you like.
And so much of like the female orgasm is mental. Like you can like will yourself not to come like as a girl, like 100%. Whereas like guys are being like baseball, like my naked grandma, like literally like I always like say this, like my friend, like literally she's like, oh, I can't come if my room's messy. Like even if I'm like, she's like, if I'm not at home and I know and I'm thinking my room's not like my room is messy. So I think like if you at least for me, like I didn't have my first orgasm ever with a partner. Like that was like, I did that on my own because there was no way in hell I was ever going to be comfortable and relaxed enough to like have a sensation or a feeling that I've never felt before in front of somebody else. Like I'm like, no, let me like figure out how to do this on my own. It's like, I don't know. It's like learning, it's like memorizing French and never saying it out loud. And then like, I'm just going to speak French to a French person. You're like, no, I'm going to research.
That's
Do you
a
know what
good
I mean?
analogy.
That is a good analogy.
But like, you don't want to ever like, you're like, this is embarrassing.
But then
Like I
you'll be
can
like-
think about it as much as I want, but like, I don't know.
I've never said this word out loud. Parlez-vous.
Exactly. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Okay. So it seems like her question though was,
Is that normal?
is that quote unquote normal?
Yeah.
Does this make me gay or bi or what? What does this mean? And, you know, I guess from my perspective, I would say it can mean as much or as little as you want. You know, there is, porn isn't another person.
Yeah.
So you're not falling in love, right? And I think that sexual identity in the queer versus straight, and I like to say queer instead of LGBTQIA because I kind of think like socially we need to move past putting everybody in categories like you're a lesbian, gay, bi, whatever. Like I think it's just like if straight people get one word and they can all just say straight, I just want to be able to say queer. Yeah. But the categories are all still there and the labels are still there and it's really good because it can help people find community and identity and blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
It's an umbrella.
It's an umbrella term, right? It's an umbrella term. So love and like queerness versus straightness is about person to person. So I think you'll have a lot more clarity when you find yourself falling for somebody. And I would say be open to falling for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I always have said like I have always identified as being straight, but that's because I've never met a girl that I've been attracted to in that way. But that's not saying that girl doesn't exist in the world. So I think like if you just don't let this situation make you feel like you have, like this has to mean anything. Like it can mean as much or as little as you want it to mean. If you end up like having a crush on a girl, great. If you end up like being attracted to guys, great. Like you can watch like a scene in Game of Thrones where it's like two girls like getting it on and I'm like, damn, this is hot. But I don't wish I was a part of that. But like, cool. Like
that's like me watching two dudes like going at it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, this is hot. I do not want to be in that room.
No, I watch gay porn with some of my guy friends, and like I'd be like, yeah, no, this is not my like I can be like, this is like super hot, but like this isn't like something that I want like to be in like sandwiched between.
Yeah,
like that's not my like dream space to be, but like I can still. Also, when I think there's something, especially with porn, I think there's something to be said. It's so not about like gender as much as it is about like sexual acts.
Yeah, it's
but I'm like,
power.
who cares that it's like a woman? Like if you enjoy when someone goes down on you, you see a woman going down on another woman, like that's the same thing as a guy going down on a woman.
That's what that Huffington Post article was saying, is that a lot of straight women like lesbian porn because they focus more on going down on women. And so
a girl
it's
getting
about
like railed.
The girl's needs as opposed to
which is hot.
Yeah.
It's like that's why they have those like porn calendars of like guys cleaning for like women to be like, this is the housewives like dream porn. I'm like, like literally. No, honestly, no, that was literally my weekend. Mott's had friends over for a football like party thing and
game day.
Oh yeah, literally. And so I came home and the house was perfectly clean and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, no, it was like great. Like I told everybody, I sat them down. I was like, the house is very white. He's like, I sat them down and I was like, you know, you can have no colored food. There is the only thing you can have in the living room is beer. All of the colored food needs to stay in the dining room, kitchen area, pizza, wings, all of that. Like everyone has to use coasters. And I'm looking at me like, I'm wet. Like take me now. Like this is like literally, I am so turned on by like you being like
right now on this clean
and
couch.
he's like, and I cleaned up the whole time. I just like, as people were watching the game, I like picked up after them and I did that, took the recycling out. I'm like, say recycling again.
Oh my God. I love it.
Oh, so good. I think the moral of this story for you, caller, is don't let it mean anything unless you want it to mean something.
Yeah.
Get off how you want to get off.
Get off how you want to get off.
It's better to get off than to not. Wise words from me. Better to get off than to not.
Title the episode. Get off.
Get off.
Get off.
Get off. Let's go on to the next one.
This is kind of a response to episode 30 with Taylor. But also I have a question that I want advice on. So there was a girl that was upset about her boyfriend watching porn, and I've been in kind of the opposite situation. I kind of wish my fiance was watching porn and taking care of himself sometimes, because I feel like he relies on me too much for sex sometimes. So that leads me into my question for advice. So I'm 24. I've been with my fiance for a little over 3.5 years, and we're getting married in December. And I love him so much, and we work really well together, but we do have some tension around sex sometimes. I have like a weird libido, I guess, and it's pretty low. And I do want to have sex, but it's just not really that often, at least to him, or I guess in general. But my fiance wants to have sex a lot more than I do. And it's hard because I know that he has like sexual needs, but also I don't feel like it's fair if I have to have sex with him if I don't want to. And sometimes he really pressures me to. I've seen a doctor about my libido being low because I think it's weird, but she dead ass told me that I should leave him because I need to like have sex with other people, but I don't want to do that because I love him. I'm going to marry him. Like, I think that's weird. But there are some factors to this that could be relevant. So he's actually the first and only guy I've ever had sex with. And I mean, sometimes I think maybe I should have had sex with more people, like in college or something, but I really love him, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. Also, a lot of guys I dated before him have dumped me because I wouldn't have sex with them, so that could have hurt my sexual self-esteem. And also, I don't get off every time I have sex with my fiance, and he'll go down on me sometimes, and he's really great at it, but that's not all the time. So I guess my question is it normal to not have a big sex drive. I mean, I am a girl, so I feel like it's not usually as high as guys, but in media, it seems like everyone wants to have sex all the time, and it kind of stresses me out a bit that I'm not like that. Also, like, what do you think I should do in terms of the sex drive not matching with me and my fiance?
Wow.
Makes me sad.
That's a really real, like, things just got so real. That girl is so brave for calling in and being so candid.
And going to the doctor. Like, that makes me so happy because, like, we've talked about libido and sex drive on the podcast so much. And a lot of it, we always reference, like, medications can make that fluctuate. And I think you having already gone to the doctor is amazing. I wish your doctor was a little more delicate and also...
Maybe she was saying that because if her fiance is pressuring to have sex.
Well, that's
not good.
Biggest thing. And I wish I don't know. I wish
it feels like, so first and foremost, I have two things I want to say here. Let's just take the sex drive aspect and put it aside for a second. It's the communication aspect about what she wants and what she needs for her life. And this person that she's hoping to spend the rest of her life with, I would say that they should really work on that mutual respect and communication surrounding the issue, because that will be a big factor in their lives. It seems like there's definitely room for growth there. And she has absolutely no need. It is not her obligation to fulfill his sexual desires whenever he wants. Sex is about intimacy and communication.
Yeah.
And two, if she really doesn't feel nothing makes her feel sexual, like, look into asexuality. I mean, it's a real thing. There are some people that do not have an interest. They might be, romantic, hetero-romantic, bi-romantic, homo-romantic, whatever, pan-romantic, but some people don't have a desire to have sex with a man, with a woman, with a whatever, So I would say that, and that's totally valid. But yeah, I mean, this guy sounds like a dick.
Yeah.
Sorry about that for your fiance. It makes me upset because so many young women are pressured into sex with their partners.
Oh, totally. And it makes me sad because we can even hear from you that you're clearly a great communicator. And that to me is like, this shouldn't be 3.5 years and a wedding a couple months away and still be an issue, because and I'm going to give a little bit of tough love here in the situation. I don't know. Are you being the bigger, I'm using air quotes, like being the bigger person by saying, he's like great at going down on me and doing all of this stuff. She's putting so much blame on herself and her low sex drive that at this point, I think you need to really think about, take yourself and like your own sex drive out of the picture and be like, am I actually getting sexually satisfied? Am I saying because I love him that he's good at this and he's great at this and that I'm coming more often than I actually am? Because I mean, my sex drive is so much higher when I'm with a partner where I'm enjoying myself. Like my sex drive is not nearly as high if I'm like with someone and I'm not getting off.
Yeah, you're not going to want to have sex with someone that you don't feel respected by.
100%. And if his goal is his finishing and not mine, and like also, okay, I've recommended the book so many times, like She Comes First. If he's not going down on you every single time you are having sex, like what? Like that's, and if that's something that you want, if it's not something that you want, but if there is like, if this isn't as much about, I don't know, I have a really hard time with like anything in general of somebody else prioritizing their needs and their comfort and being okay with that being the opposite of what you want.
Yeah.
So it's like when someone invites you to a party and you're like, I really, really don't want to go to the party. They're like, but I really, really want you to go. You're like, so you want me to go bad enough that you don't care I'm going to have that I'm not going to have a good time.
Yeah. It's like the want versus need question, because if he needs to have sex so often it's making you uncomfortable, that's not right. That's not right. Like, I don't know if this guy is like if he's just a young man, he just really wants to have sex all the time, fine. But that's not food, water, shelter. That's not a need. Also, and I just, this girl is so, my heart breaks because there are women that get jealous if their boyfriends watch porn. Yeah. But she is so desperate for a compromise here. Yeah. You can hear that she is desperate for a compromise, desperate for a solution. And she's like, maybe you should just masturbate. Maybe you should just go watch porn. And at that point, when someone's suggesting that their boyfriend go masturbate because they have to have sex with them so much, like, dude, that's not cool. No. Like, that boyfriend's not being cool to you.
No. And also, that to me, I'm like, if he's not watching porn, like that, you can still be objectified in a relationship. Like, you don't
then he's using her as the porn.
And that to me, like, I think that can be like, you can find that hot and sexy if your boyfriend's like, no, I really want specifically you. But then if you have to be an unwilling participant, that's just control in a different way.
That's him masturbating with your body.
Yeah.
They've been dating. He's the only person she's ever had sex with. This is clearly something that is very present in their relationship.
It's a lot of pressure.
And there's a lot of pressure, and they're about to get married. Like, sweetheart, if you're listening, I would caution you to really take yourself seriously and validate that this is an important factor in your relationship, and hit pause. Yeah. Be like, I can't spend the rest of my life being like somebody's, like, if you feel like you're a sex doll.
Sorry, that was really mean.
Fleshlight. Because I've had friends who were like, had relationships with kind of shitty dudes, but not saying that this guy's shitty, but like, who, effectively they just felt like a rag doll. They're like, great. Yeah. It's like, just like, good God, please come so I can fall asleep. Yeah. And it sounds like you deserve so much more. Do you guys ever get follow-ups? I'm so curious.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do.
Oh my God, please follow up, listener, and let us know how it all turned out.
Because I think if you really love somebody too, there is a sense of like, you don't, and you can tell there's so much blame in her voice. Like, I don't know how much of this he's being like, I want to give him a benefit of the doubt because like, you love him and you sound like a great person who hopefully has like a really great judge of character. So much of it, you can just, especially women, can really take on so much responsibility and blame for things that you make excuses for other people and that you don't always give them the opportunity to like step up to the plate. And like, maybe he won't, like maybe he like won't, and maybe he's not a great guy, but you have to give him the opportunity and the chance to be that guy that you want to marry. And like, you obviously see something in him. And I'm a huge believer in like pulling out all the stops and like checking off all the boxes, like no stone left unturned. And then if it means like postponing your wedding to figure this stuff out, I think it's better to postpone and like cancel a wedding than it is to get divorced.
Yeah.
But there's also, I think you just have to have that conversation. And also if he is like super resistant to going to therapy, just realize that like you're only 24 and she's in her 20s. You're only in your 20s.
Yeah, she's 24.
Yeah, you're 24. And like, if you're going to marry this person and they don't even want to go to therapy now, like the first year of your marriage isn't going to be the hardest year of your marriage. Like that's going to be kind of like, it's going to be telling to see how he's going to be as a partner for the rest of your life. And if you want to do it.
Yeah. You don't need to be with this guy, but you do need to be happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
I know.
Guys,
I got really invested in that one.
I'm invested.
I get overly invested. Please give us a call back and let us know.
Yeah.
And you're like amazing. I just want to say, like, we always preach like all of the
I hope this next question is like cats versus dogs.
Dogs.
Cats.
Yeah. Okay. We disagree on one thing now. Okay. Should we go to the next one?
I'm 17 years old and I'm about to go into my senior year of high school. I'm bisexual and have just started my first relationship with a girl. Just for a little backstory, she's a year younger than me and was actually one of my really close friends for multiple years before we started dating. It's pretty new for both of us since we've only been with guys previously. Because we were friends before any of this started, I was pretty aware of her problems with anxiety and depression, but I guess I didn't know the full extent until we were on this level. I'm a very empathic and emotional person, so when someone that I love is hurting, I want to do everything in my power to make things better. Of course, my objective isn't to fix her because I know that that's her own journey. But sometimes I just don't know what to do when she's constantly texting me that she's sad or sending me crying Snapchats. She struggles a lot with body image issues, and I like to consider myself a pretty confident person, and sometimes I worry that that also affects her. she really doesn't have a supportive family when it comes to her anxiety and depression and just her being bi in general. For example, her mom took her out of therapy just because it was a hassle, and they really aren't 100% okay with the whole fact that she's with me, even though my family is. It does get pretty exhausting for me to constantly be the one holding her up and trying to be strong 24/7. Even though I may come off as being more sure of myself, I really don't know what I'm doing. I guess I just wanted to know what I could do to not only help her cope, but also to help myself as well. I know that new relationships come with their own hurdles, so I just want to be as happy as possible.
Oh my God, 17.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was incredibly articulate. And I feel like we really got like the full scope of kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oof.
Wait. Oh, man. Well, I've got a million things to say.
Take it away.
Well, so first of all, listener, or what do you have a name for your community? Your sweet babies?
Sure.
Little fuckers.
Little fuckers.
Hey, little fuckers.
Little fuckers.
Now, was that a little fucker or a sweet baby? I think so far we've had 3 out of 3 sweet babies. So this little fucker, sorry. I really appreciate how much like research and thought and consideration she's clearly put into this, you know, by saying that she knows it's not her responsibility to fix her. I feel like your heart is in the right place. The hard part is when you have someone with, you know, depression or anxiety, especially if they're not in therapy or they're not being medicated, they can be like laying in the mud a lot. And obviously when you love someone, you want to lift them up out of the mud, but you can't always lift someone up out of the mud. So what happens is you actually just end up getting pulled down too.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's exhausting. You only have so much physical, mental, emotional energy. So if you're pulling them out of the mud every single day, eventually you're going to start to sink too. Right?
Yeah.
So something that I have chronic depression, and I am like, I've got everything I want in life. You know, like I love my job. I love my partner. I love my home. I have a great therapist. I've got all my drugs right as rain. I feel really good.
Yeah.
You know, that being said, I still have major depressive disorder. I have my predisposition chemically is to always just kind of tilt. So my fiance didn't know what depression was when we first started dating and didn't really like understand. So she very much was always trying to help pull me up in my lows. And I would say, honestly, I what is going to be most important is for you to take care of you. I'm not in a good place right now. I'm in a really low place right now, but I want you to have a good day.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for her to make the decision to like go work out or go to dinner with friends or something. Because she's like, well, you're in crisis. I should be here to help you. The reality is it's not an illness. I'm not in crisis. There's no cure. It's my life. And I have to learn my toolkit for dealing with it because it's always going to be here. And it gets really tedious, you know? It's like if you accept that there's not something to fix, then also accept that they're not in crisis. You'll know when they're in crisis, you know?
Yeah.
And if every day's a crisis, then they need real help.
Yeah. And I mean, we are exactly the same person. So I think this is this is something that I have had to like go through the motions and deal with like every relationship I've had of being like, if I'm like just like having a low day or whatever, I'm like, first of all, if I'm telling you I'm having a low day, like, cool, great, leave it at that. Like, I don't necessarily, if I want to talk about it, ask me if I want to talk about it. Like there are certain, and I'll get into like what I would say, these specific advice, but like in my personal experience with it, it's a learning curve with somebody where there is also this feeling of you have to, like, exactly like the same analogy, like you have to learn how to pick yourself up out of the mud. And for so long, so many, especially kids, I think, who deal with mental health, and I mean, everyone has mental health, but like everyone who's like dealing with struggles and stuff like that, if you don't ever learn, I didn't ever learn how it was my responsibility to like trudge through and pick it up, as opposed to like investing in whether it's things or people or activities that were going to like make it better. I was like, no. The reason why I'm not good is me. And the only thing that is going to make myself good is me. Like there aren't other factors going into my life as opposed just it's chemicals. Like that's what this is. And this is all internally in this house that I live in this body. And when you're in a relationship with somebody and somebody is just like desperately trying to make you feel better, there's also like make it it better, not even make you feel better, make it better. There's a frustration, at least on my end too, where I'm like, okay, this is a forever thing. And like, if you're trying to fix me, like this is me. Like,
I'm not broken.
Yeah.
This
like,
is the shape I'm in.
I know that this isn't fun for me more than it's not fun for you. So just know, like, this isn't something that like I'm going to grow out of. And like, this is something that I need you to deal with just as much as I'm having to deal with this kind of stuff. And then it's
kind of like if somebody, like, let's say somebody has chronic fatigue because they have lupus, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, some days, some months, I call my depressive stuff downswings or like a low.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm just the world is dark today. It's like everything's in black and white, you know? So like if you love somebody that had lupus and they were like, I'm so exhausted, but you know they have lupus and you know sometimes their lupus flares up, you wouldn't be like, do you need coffee? Do you want a vitamin B? Do you want to do this?
Red Bull?
Should you exercise? Do you want to You'd be like, oh, okay, it's a lupus episode. Got it. You sleep all day. I'm going to go have a good day.
Yeah.
Big disclaimer. You and I are both talking from the perspective of people that have done the self-knowledge, the growth. They're 17. We're older.
Yeah.
You know, for the situation you're in, listener, little fucker, sweet baby, you know, as hard as it is, you need to set the boundaries as you have them, because that's the only way she's going to learn.
Yeah.
You know, and it
100%.
sucks because she might not be ready to understand her depression, but you have to set, or her anxiety, you have to set your boundaries so that she has something that she has to, you know, she has something she can work with, not just always being there, because then you're just enabling her to always have to rely on another person.
There's also some guilt there that, like, for me, if I'm feeling really depressed and shitty, like sometimes
it's the worst when people are like, how are you? What is
let
it?
me stay home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the entire time you're staying home, I'm going to be looking at you thinking that the reason why you're here is because of me. And then I'm going to feel more upset. And so that's something too, that like, as much as you think you also might be helping her, there's the enabling thing. And then there's also this feeling of being like a charity case of somebody, of being like, wow, I just like opened up how I'm feeling. And as opposed to feeling rational and like normalized, of being like, I totally get it. Even though maybe you don't personally relate to it, of being like, yes, this is so normal. Like, you're so good. Like, you don't need to stress about this. As treating it like this is this huge, massive thing. You're like, oh wow, so I'm not normal. So this isn't like what is happening here. I would say my advice, and this is something that it's
so funny, the guilt thing too, because
my
like every time I'm in a really like low place, I'm always just like, honestly, it's best for me to just kind of socially isolate right now. Just sometimes it's like, I just need to be Hannah on Hannah. And because I just can't carry the weight of like, I don't know what I want for dinner. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like being like having a responsibility to somebody else, and of being like, I don't want to really talk. I don't want to do any of this kind of stuff. And like, I'm going to feel even more guilty if I'm not being a good like communicator, because you are being generous with your time and your energy. And like, I feel like an asshole because like, I don't want, like, it's like thank you for the gesture, but like, I'm not going to appreciate it right now.
It's like the chronic like fatigue analogy where the lupus person's like, oh, this coffee. Thank you so much.
Like, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Let's go to a movie now.
Yeah,
it's
like,
all they want to do is sleep.
You feel bad, but I think, and a system that I've gotten really great at with my friends and my boyfriend, and is the automatic go-to response when one of us comes to the other, whether it's like text, phone call, or in person, saying that they're feeling a certain type of way. We always check up on each other and be like, hey, how are you feeling? If I can tell you're not going to say something. But then it's always like, what can I do? And it's not, here, let me like fix this. It's like, what do you need from me? And like, is it that, do you want space? Do you want to hang out? Like, do you want, like, just tell me what you want from me, because then I can be the best. I can attend to your needs, because also sometimes it's kind of like love languages. Like sometimes what you would want if you were in that position is not what that person would want. Yeah. So if I'm like feeling really depressed, some days I like really want, I was like, I just honestly, like, I don't want to talk about it, but like, I want you to come over and I want to just like watch like the Great British Bake Off for like 5 hours and like not talk about my feelings. Yeah. Or I want to kind of go dark for a week, and I want to know that my anxiety brain is going to be turned off, because I know that you're not mad at me and you're not going to be upset that I'm not responding. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I want. Or I just want a hug. Like, I want to talk about it. But offering just to be there in whatever capacity that is, I think is the best thing that you can do, because it's the most productive thing you can do.
To the extent that it's okay for you, because we're both speaking from the perspective of the girlfriend that we're discussing, but from her perspective, the listener's perspective, you are totally justified in drawing the line as to how much you have to give. I really, it's best if you look up advice for partners of people with depression or of this. And your girlfriend might not be in a place in her life where she's going to understand or respect this, but it's not her life, it's yours.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you can't be somebody's comfort all the time. God, I'm so happy we're not 17 anymore.
Oh my God, it was so rough.
Oh God, guys, you know how they say it gets better? That's just the facts.
It gets better,
so
but then it
much
gets worse, but then it gets better, but then it gets worse. And
It just
then you're
gets
like,
different.
okay, yeah, the entire
Ebbs and
time.
flows.
Ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows. Like my vagina right now. Someone remind me to change my tampon later.
Okay.
Please do.
We're breaking after this. So.
Great. Cool.
Cool.
Are you grossed out now? I hope that helped everyone. But yeah, and I think, again, I know she's not in therapy right now, but I would also suggest to her, if she's interested, then there's lots of like free websites and apps and things. And thankfully she's young, and school counselors and all that kind of stuff. So just because your parents won't pay for therapy. The one thing you can't be is her therapist. Totally. And also not being able to afford a therapist, especially when you're under 18. There's just a lot of resources and things. And so
even the LGBT center, if you're fortunate enough to live in a community that has one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope this helps. Okay, guys, we are going on to a break.
Oh.
And we'll be right back. Sup guys, Megan here. Oh my gosh, this is an exciting ad because guess what? Well, I mean, you're not gonna be able to guess. Also, it's not a call and response thing. I spent the past weekend making and revamping the Don't Blame Me socials. So you guys already know that you can subscribe to us on iTunes on the podcast app, which you should do, and leave us a fantastic review. But now you can also go on our website, don'tblameme.show, and you can see the hard work that I put in designing this website. I feel like I did pretty good. It's cute. I'm looking at it now. There's some things I'm going to change, but guys, I'm just like, it's a work in progress. And on there, you guys can see where all of the videos for the podcast are. You can see where to listen to it on SoundCloud as well, on YouTube. You can figure out how to call in, email us, tweet, and then you can also check out our brand freaking new Instagram. Yes, I made us an Instagram. It's called Don't Blame Me Pod. So search that. And also when you search it, it kind of looks like it says Don't Blah Meme Pod. But that's just because you see me and the blame and then the me after that. And it just turns into meme when I see it because, millennial. I'm very into this Instagram account. It's premium content, mostly because I cannot not have a theme. So there's a theme starting. So I'm really excited. We're going to be posting when we have new episodes there. Hopefully some BTS stuff, maybe some IGTV things and all that. So yeah, guys, look, you can follow us all these multiple places now. Hit us up on the Insta. Slide into our DMs with... PG-13 stuff. Like, I can handle it, but, So, thanks, guys, and back to the episode. Guys, we are back from the break. Hello, I hope it was good for you. It was good for us. Changed my tampon in case anybody was wondering.
Everything's still there. I like you guys' hand soap. Peppermint.
It's nice, isn't it? I'm a big fan.
I love it.
Okay, guys, let's hop into the next call.
I'm a sophomore in high school. I just started sophomore year. And I had a girlfriend all summer. And I have this other friend who's like my ex, but also friends with benefits. But me and her stopped being friends with benefits when I got with my girlfriend that I had last summer, obviously. And she was just kind of flirting with me all summer and like saying all this stuff, and I'd be like, no, we can't, I have a girlfriend. And then I broke up with my girlfriend, and I was like talking to her, and we were like, I thought we were flirting and stuff, but then she's like, oh yeah, and she keeps like talking to me about girls and like wants girl advice, and I'm like, but I thought we were a thing, and I don't know how to tell her that, because every time I tell her that, she just like ignores me and doesn't really say anything. So I don't really know what to do.
Damn, players
my
gonna
gosh.
play.
Yeah.
This like little like 14-year-old.
I hadn't even my first kiss my sophomore year.
Literally like oh, good God.
Play's gonna play.
I know. She's like, so I'm out here crushing the game.
So many girls.
Oh man, let me ask you about bitches, man. I just got like
I got a lot.
I got all them bitches.
All
you
them
know?
bitches.
I thought she wanted to get up on this, but like maybe not.
Weird.
Why not? Wow.
I think it's hard because I think my advice, if she was older, would probably be a little different because my insight on it would be different because at that age, it is difficult. My automatic thing would be if she's not being straightforward and honest with you, she probably doesn't have feelings for you. But then I think like at that age, I was all about like the like go around and like being like, oh no, I'm like asking for like boy advice, but like the boy is actually you. Like,
oh yeah,
do you know what I mean?
that
So like
kind of
there's a little bit of like, it's kind of a toss up where you're the only person who knows her. And I think, I don't know how long did she say this has been going on?
I guess
The summer.
Well, just remember though, also like she's sophomore in high school, and I would say that like it's just I'm so happy for this caller because this little fucker, this is a little fucker. We got our first little fucker. Greasy babies, little fucker, is like it's really great that you have a fun friends with benefits relationship. FYI, friends with benefits is like the most complicated thing that anyone could do in the entire world. The question is, how do you feel about her? And if she doesn't want to date or go back to being friends with benefits, do you want to be just friends?
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can focus on. It's not about this other girl's feelings, because if you're like, hey, I like you, do you like, what's up? And she's like, tiddly hee, and like runs away from the question, she might not like you back. And then you have to ask yourself, am I cool with that?
Yeah. And then also, do you really like her? Or do you kind of like this game and this chase and this interest? And also, does she know that you like that? And that's why she's kind of doing this.
I hope this kid didn't break up with her girlfriend for this other girl.
I don't know. It doesn't sound as, no offense, it doesn't sound as romantic. Like it sounds so flirty and not so feelings driven. So I think I would figure out that, because I mean, I'm so quick. I've always been very quick of being like, oh, I broke up with my like boyfriend or something. I'm like, oh, that guy that I used to hook up with, like, let's hang out, and not really thinking. It wasn't really driven by like my like romantic feelings towards them. It was kind of more just based on the fact that I'm like, A, this is not my number. Like, B, like I like you, like we're good friends. Like I find comfort in you.
Like checking the romance box.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, okay, cool. I'll just date this person now.
But it's not like it's not like I've been like longing for you and like kind of like pining after you. It's kind of more, you're just in that circle, and I do find you attractive and I do like you as a person, but like in the scheme of things, like, do I really care about you that much? Because also friends with benefits it's nearly impossible to be on the same page. So man, even if you thought that, she might have had more feelings for you, or like maybe she really likes you as a friend, but like doesn't want to hurt your feelings, because she could be talking about another girl to try and like ease and being like, yeah, I'm not that into you, but I don't want to say it like that.
Right. I don't want to say it directly because I don't want to hurt your feelings. Yeah. Or she could be doing it to mess with your head in like a weird cat and mouse like crush game. That being said, like I feel like friends with benefits only works for like polyamorous people, because like somebody's gonna get hurt. You just don't want to be the one that does. Yeah. I did it. I did it like real for once, like actual like hookup. When I was in high school, and we both were like fine, but it wasn't. It like got to a point where he was like, "Why'd you cheat on me?" I'm like, "I don't think it's possible for me to cheat on you when we're not together, buddy." And it was like, even he's like, "Oh, cool, okay, I didn't know." And it was like it was just the communication. It's not even like he was like butthurt or like hella sad about it. Yeah. It was just kind of more like, oh, you're right. I guess we just never really talked about it. It's like clicking the checking the terms and conditions before proceeding. So you guys just need to figure out what your terms and conditions are, and then you can go to the CAPTCHA and move on.
Exactly.
Read that shit.
Read that shit. So I feel like this little fucker needs to just figure out, A, if you are just friends, are you cool with that? And B, are you just friends? You know, like.
And I think the more straightforward, she might be giving off like this kind of like you're saying, this cat and mouse, like flirtatious thing. And you might then be asking her if she has feelings for you matching that.
Yeah.
And then neither of you are really saying anything. So I think if you really do have feelings for her, even if she's just doing this flirtatious kind of getting out of the question, you don't match that. Be straightforward with your feelings and don't really, not that I'm saying don't give her an out, but like don't make it a yes or no. Make it like something that gets an answer.
Get your answer. Exactly. Yeah. Unless you're into the game too, because you're such a
I loved that game when I was young. I love a chase. I love a chase.
I had one friends with benefits relationship very briefly as an adult with just like a friend of a friend kind of thing. And like we hooked up after one party, and it was funny because I think now I could have done it and it would have been great. But at the time I had never done it, and I was like, and I didn't like this person. I was super attracted to her. She's super hot. And I was like, this is great. And then I was like, so do I need to have a crush on them? And then I was kind of trying to force myself to have a crush on them. And they were not interested in me dating wise, just they were down for the hookup. But then I don't think I was as evolved in that. And I was like, and it was funny because I didn't even have a crush on her.
Well, I think we're really trained to associate like intimacy with romance and feelings of like towards the other person, not just like I'm getting mine, you got yours, I respect you, great. Yeah. There is a feeling of like, there is that pressure of being like, oh, I'm supposed to like really love you, and this is supposed to make the chemicals in my brain explode, and it's like Sims and woohoo, and now I want to have your babies. And you're like, oh my God, if I don't want to have sex with you for the rest of my life, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? Yeah. I wish I could go back in time and be who I am today, because obviously I can't anymore because I'm in a committed monogamous relationship. But I wish I could have been me today and had this and just been cool and casual and been like, so we hooking up tonight or no? Or like, okay, great. Because she was cool. Yeah. But yeah. Instead, I just overthought everything and panicked.
Oh, yeah. I relate. I relate to that. It's a good time. Always an option.
Always an option.
Always an option.
Have
Usually
you
the first one I do.
Panicking?
Have you thought about freaking out and losing your goddamn mind for no reason? Yeah. You should try that sometime.
Yeah, that'll be great.
It's going to work out well. Okay. Should we go to the next?
Hey, Megan, Mel, and guest. I'm just going to jump right into this. I am 30 years old, and last year I left, my boyfriend of 4.5 years and I broke up. It was like a mutual breakup. That's all fine, whatever. So since we broke up, I've had to move back in to my dad's house, which has not been ideal. And I work full time, but I don't make enough money to move out of my dad's house on my own. And so I got my bachelor's degree in May of 2018. So I've only been looking for a job for the last 3 months. I've had a few interviews, a few job offers, but they haven't been the right ones. And I know it's so dumb because I've only been looking for a new job for 3 months, but I feel really discouraged, and I just kind of, I don't know, I'm having a harder time with this than I thought I would, and I'm not even sure exactly what my question to you is. I just feel like I need maybe encouragement or advice as far as how to keep moving forward with this. The situation living with my dad and his girlfriend is not the best for a lot of reasons I can't get into, but I'm just feeling really like, I guess I'm telling myself all of this is permanent and I'm going to be at his house forever and I'm never going to find a new job. So none of those thoughts have been helpful to me, as you can imagine. So yeah, any advice or just words of encouragement would be great. Thank you so much.
Oh man, sweet baby,
sweet baby, you're a sweet baby,
sweet baby.
Congratulations on being a sweet baby.
Oh, I actually teared up. Oh. I did. Well, I just have such like sympathy for that, because I have friends that are in their 30s, and like when you get out of a relationship, one of my best friends, actually the co-host of Analyze This, was in a relationship for 8 years. Left and had to at 28, 29 move back in with her parents. And I just saw, and she, now she's out of there and she's moved on, but I just saw how much it like fucked up her psyche and her sense of self and her sense of like time. And it was really, really hard for her. And she struggled to get out of the house again and to get back to independence, she found a place with some roommates, which really, really worked out. That's actually what helped her to get out. But yeah, like I said, Hannah, that's why we call it Hannahlize This, is her name's also Hannah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we
Clever.
Hannahlize. Yeah. I know. Thank you. But, Hannah's 33 now, and she's so much farther than she was, but she was at the exact point in time at 30 that this sweet baby is also. So my heart goes out to you. I have nothing but love for you. And like Hannah pulled herself out of it. And I think that you can too,
Yeah. I think,
or pulled yourself through it actually.
Yeah. Cause it's, you're going to be faced with things in your life that are going to suck at any age. Like there are certain things that get easier and then certain things that get harder. And I think especially as you get older, it's this chase of this like non-tangible idea that we have of success that always gets like farther and farther away as we get closer and closer. And so then when the rug is pulled out from underneath you and this idea that you had of your life and that kind of goes away, I think there can be a lot of like blame that we automatically put on ourselves of being like, wow, I am worthless. Like, I can't believe I did this. Like, this is not where I wanted to be. This is not where I thought I was going to be.
Right.
And I don't know if anybody ever really ends up where they think they're going to be. Like every step, you're always like, this is not how I planned to go this way. But I mean, it's going to get me in the way I want to end up. But I don't think you ever really plan those kind of tangents that make you, that get you to where you want to go.
Right.
It's not intentional.
It's kind of like, yeah, exactly. And those tangents can feel like, oh shit, this is about the entirety of my life right now.
Yeah.
So try and break it into smaller pieces. It sounds to me like the primary focus, like don't worry about your career path. Don't worry about finding a partner. Don't give yourself all this pressure for all of these things that you don't feel like you have answers for. Honestly, just get out of that house.
Yeah.
Because right now living with your dad and his girlfriend, I can hear in your voice how damaging it is for you. And to find a way, go online, find roommates, get a room in a house, like whatever it takes for you to not be in that environment will make answering the other questions easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I very much agree with that. I think start small and tackle things one by one. And for the job thing, I'm
congratulations for having a full-time job, by the way.
It's such a hard thing, especially like when it took her 3 months still.
Yeah.
Figuring all that stuff out. That's something that I wish more people as adults talked about. I have like a weird job where like my job is constantly being like, I'm putting all this time and energy into a job that I probably won't get. Like I have no job security.
Yeah. I know.
And so there's like that stress and that fear of being like every single day, you have to like pick yourself up, and also you have to you face rejection, and then you have to still manage like, okay, well, let me try again and try again. And it's taxing, and it totally it really can take it out of you. But I think if you can just, I think the first, you just
get out of that house, man.
Steps.
Because it's like everyone, you're not so uniquely. The good news is everyone has issues with self-sufficiency, and everyone has issues with how they feel about where they are, which I think is what you're speaking to, which is like, oh shit, is this enough? But like right now it's like, drive Lyft in the evenings, do whatever it takes for you to get enough money and get yourself into a different environment. And then things will become more clear when you're in a better place to have the questions that you're experiencing right now.
Well, I think it's overwhelming when there are so many things that you wish were different and that you want to change. So focus on one and then write it down. Be like, this is the one goal I'm going to focus on.
One goal right now.
This is how much money I need to make. I'm going to look up the median of rent. If I had roommates, if I had one roommate, if I had two roommates, if I had three roommates, I'm going to look up how much the median of rent would be, how much I would need to save to do this, how much I would need to make per month when taxes are taken out. How are you going to get that kind of money to do all of that? Focus on those steps, because it's accomplishing a task that makes you feel more in control. And that's the biggest issue when breakups and everything, when you're in a situation that you're I didn't ask for this, and it happens, and you can't control certain things like that. So find the healthy things that you can control in making it feel like I'm putting an effort forth and I'm doing what I can do to change my situation and to change where I am.
Yeah.
All the while knowing that life's going to throw shit at you, but you just have to devise a plan. Step one, figure out how much this is going to cost. And then like, okay, cool. So I need to be working this, and this, and I need to do this. And I need to save this much this month. Let me budget how much I'm going to spend on food this month. And then while you're at the house, I think
living rent free, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
And if not, that also kind of sucks. I mean, like Hannah lived with her parents and she was literally it's so kismet. She was this exact age. And like I said, we talk a lot about it on Hannahlyze This, but like, living with your parents is so regressive. You regress, you convert into your child self and your identity. And for a lot of people, and it sounds like with you, that's not a healthy experience, to be like, oh shit. Like, and that contributes to the feeling like you're not at where you should be in this point in time. But that's
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
all in your head.
Yeah.
Because you're basically, don't think of it as your dad's house. Think of it like you're living rent-free somewhere.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Airbnb. Like you got a brand deal with Airbnb. The Airbnb, you want a contest. You want a contest and Airbnb is letting you stay at this place.
Yeah.
And then when you're there in the house, you're an adult. Like you're still an adult. It might feel like you're a kid again. It might feel like you're going to be disciplined. And yes, like hopefully you're living there rent-free and there might be some rules. There's a way to be respectful of whatever said rules are, but like you are not obligated to be miserable and sit with them because like you're not 18, like you're not a like child. 16. You're not a kid.
You don't have to be home on time for dinner. You don't have to watch TV with the family. You're not a child. You're an adult. And congratulations, by the way, on getting your bachelor's degree. That is super, super awesome. Mm-hmm. My aunt actually got hers when she like turned 40.
Oh, wow.
So like, just congrats for that. You're on your own timeline in life and that's A-okay.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like validate that. Like validate yourself, you know? And you're listening to an awesome podcast. That's so cool.
Yeah. And find other things that make you happy when you do have to be there. Like maybe there's a specific TV show or there's a candle that you love. Or if there's, I mean, I don't know if you're in your childhood bedroom, but if there's a way that you can just change stuff,
convert it, but
like
I don't know.
Make things where it feels
if
like
she's with the girlfriend, I don't know. I think it's probably
they probably are in a different place than you were. But yeah, but like just make it so like when you walk in, it doesn't look like your dad's house.
Yeah.
Don't make it homey for you.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations. You've had like several job offers and you've turned them down because they weren't right for you. And I think that's awesome because that means you're not settling for something. Mm-hmm. When I graduated from college, my plan was to go to dental school and I was just like, nah, don't want to do that anymore. So I did move back in with my parents and didn't settle for something else that I really didn't want. And when I moved back in, I set ground rules with them. Like, I'm an adult. I don't have curfew. I'm here. And I did offer to pay like some rent, but I was mostly there so I could save money because I had decided to move here. So I was working a job, saving money. Like you said, changing your environment. I painted my walls green. Like I changed everything that was about my childhood. It was not the same anymore. And I also I didn't tell them like what I was doing every day. I'd just come home when I wanted to.
Yeah, you don't need to check in with them.
Right. But I also realized that I was staying under their roof and not taking advantage, but like I was taking advantage of not
perks.
having to pay like a full rent. So I would buy groceries, and sometimes I would cook. So it's just like being respectful of them too.
Yeah, treating them like you would roommates. Like, there's like you don't
like
have
buying
to
toilet paper and stuff.
Yeah, like you don't have to check in with your roommate and be like, hey, I'm going to be doing this and all that stuff. But then there's other things that you're like, okay, cool. This doesn't feel like I'm oversharing, or I don't feel like I'm sacrificing my privacy, but I can do something nice for you too, to kind of show that.
And just in case, because again, we don't have the full picture, if they're asking you to do too much, like, you know, being like, well, if you live here, that means you're responsible for all the dishes or everything, every blah, blah, blah. Like, we don't know the situation, and it could be one of many things. But what matters is you making it the situation that's going to be best for you and finding compromise, not sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's a huge difference between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom did pull the thing like, you need to wash the dishes. And I was like, I'll wash the dishes that I make dirty.
Like, I'm not
and
going
if everyone does that for themselves, there won't be dirty dishes.
Exactly. Yeah, like, you don't need to teach me chores.
Right.
Like, I'm an adult now. We all can fend for ourselves.
Yeah. And congratulations. I know that ending adult relationships as an adult is so hard. And I can't, you're reeling right now. Your life has been tossed up in the air and the pieces are coming back down. Pick the one piece that, you know, it sounds like we're all in agreement on, which is like, you know, figure out what it's going to take for you to get out of the house, and good job. And good job for reaching out, you know? Wow, I love your listeners.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, they're the best. I love the sweet babies. I love the little fuckers.
I'm a little fucker, so I relate with them. I'm like, oh, you little fuckers.
Oh, you little fuckers.
But yeah, I think the last thing I'll say on this, which this is totally maybe doesn't even apply, if your dad, if they have like an unfurnished basement, or they have like some area that is a little farther away and isn't so like check in on the house, maybe you can offer to be like, hey, like let me help like redo this and like do this kind of stuff, and then I can stay here, and kind of, if there's a way to get more physical separation, I would say that. Or even if there's like if there's an office that's maybe the guest bedroom's right next to their room, maybe if there's like a downstairs office that's small
to their
exactly room. Like if there's a way to even just do that and see if there's even a couple doors down is a better space for that.
Yeah. You don't have to come home as soon as you're done with work.
Yeah. I would go work out after.
Yeah. Go for a walk, go work out. Maybe there's a cool board game community that has like Monday night. Like that's what I would do.
And talk to your friends. I know that there's so much pride that comes with wanting to act like you have your shit together. And the greatest comfort I've ever realized as growing older is that I'm like, the more I talk about not having my shit together, the friends that I thought really had it together totally didn't. And I was like, oh, cool, we can talk about this kind of stuff. So I think that'd be great too, because maybe there's like a friend of yours that is like, oh yeah, maybe they seem like they've got it all and they're like married and all that stuff. And like, maybe they're really not happy. Maybe they could also be looking for a friend and stuff. And I think it always takes one person in the friend group to kind of admit that they're not doing so hot for everybody else to be like, cool, can we talk about this now? Neither am I. Have a good system like that.
Yeah. I mean, we don't fucking know.
Yeah. Troll. Okay. Are we good? We're on to, so this is the part where we either have,
there's another segment?
There's a segment.
I love segments.
Would you like to explain the segment?
Sure. So this is Producer's Corner. So this is where I pick either a call this week that I really liked and thought I'd share it, or it's a callback. The caller's calling back to update us on what's going on in their lives. And then there's also other listeners calling and giving advice on past calls.
Oh, love that. So it's kind of letters to the editor.
Yeah.
Producer's Corner.
This week, what we have is someone that is sharing their advice on a situation. So this is from the episode with Ashley Perez about
Love her.
She's awesome.
She's great.
I love me some Ashley.
When I got dressed today, I almost put on like a little white shirt and tied a bandana. And then I was like, it's too close to the episode with Ashley, because I complimented her outfit and told her I was going to copy her. And I was like, I can't copy it on the podcast. Like I have to do that in real life.
In real life, yeah. Yeah. And so this is someone, so the original call was about two girls who had just started dating. They had been friends for years.
Oh, it was romantic.
And they had just, but now the dynamic has changed where their parents won't let them stay the night.
Well, and so what Ashley and I had said was both of us had talked about how her and her current relationship, that they were friends first. And that's how my boyfriend and I started dating. And we both talked about how when we were just friends with our partners, we would say, I love you. And then as soon as we started like liking them, we're like, oh, I can't say that anymore. And so we had to backtrack. And we both did say that we felt like it was actually kind of nice to kind of start fresh and start over, and it was exciting. And that one of the girls, her parents are fine with them having sleepovers there, and the other ones aren't. And she didn't say that there was like they didn't dislike them being together or anything.
I actually think, to be honest, like being queer, you're always looking to be treated the same way as a straight couple.
That's what Ash and I were like. No, my parents would never have let me had like a boy sleepover that I was dating even at 19, and that was our exact same thing of being like, I don't.
It's kind of cool. They respect the relationship enough to be like, well, now you're dating, and we don't want to hear you have sex in the house.
Exactly. But it was cute though because they've been like friends forever,
like childhood
friends, and they fell in love.
I'm gonna literally listen to this episode on my drive home.
I listened to this clip like of this call multiple times. I can't even explain to you. It's the happiest story in the world. It's just so fucking cute.
I can't wait.
I want it to be a movie, really.
So this is someone else calling in to respond.
They've got their own experience or advice with it.
So I'm personally not gay, but my older brother is, and he and his boyfriend had the same situation. When they were 18, and they had started dating each other once my brother realized that he was bisexual. And my parents were super strict about it. They wouldn't let them just spend the night in each other's rooms anymore, and it totally doesn't have anything to do with them being homophobic or anything, because his parents were kind of strict about it too. They just didn't want them having unsafe sex until they were both tested and they had figured out everything. And it was the same rules for me and my sister that applied to my older brother. And my parents were super understanding, and plus it is like their house, and you're living there as an adult going into college, so you kind of have to respect them, which I think you guys also said, and I thought that was really good. But from like an outside perspective who's like still like involved in a similar situation, like watching us like a sister, I think it was like the best decision on my parents' part, because it did I think it kept their relationship kind of fresher, and it kept it kind of exciting because they weren't with each other every waking second, and they didn't like get to know each other. And then once they moved in together like a year ago, they've been together since, and I think it worked out in the long run. And my brothers even told me like, oh, it was probably better that we didn't spend those nights together, and that we didn't live together and work together all the time, because mom and dad knew what was right, and now we're getting to know each other even more on a more emotional level. But it worked out, and my brother's really happy with his boyfriend, and everybody's happy, so I hope everything works out with her.
Oh, man.
I love that.
I love
it's
that
a second
too.
Story that's just so happy and cute.
That's so great. And like, wow, what a rad family too. Like, I just think that's just so lovely. You know?
It's exactly like you said. That's a perfect case of he was being treated exactly like his heterosexual sisters, and they were with their relationship. So the parents were like, no, all the rules apply to everybody.
Yeah. And I said to my sister, she had her boyfriend come visit, and I was like, I just said like, you cannot have sex in this house.
Well, also like,
but it's just mainly because
yeah, exactly. That's
you're
like,
my baby.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear you having sex,
or they think that you're going to be doing that. I think that's half of the reason why parents don't want that. It's not like, I think like, yes, there's a part like we want you to make sure you're safe and all that stuff, but they're like, I don't want that. Gets gross. Like if you're gonna have sex in your own time, don't have sex here.
Yeah, and also it's like you don't even have sex at like a friend's house. If somebody's letting you like, well, I mean, I did hook up on my friend's couch once, and then that was really messed up of me actually. Oh man, but that's great. Yeah.
That makes me really happy. And it makes me happy to hear that they're like excited that they're still together too, because that it makes sense, because there is that bonus of dating someone who's a friend, but anyone you meet in the like as an adult, or you're not going to automatically move in with them usually. So there is kind of that, you get to enjoy that build that you kind of, I don't know, people get sad about missing out on that kind of, oh, is he going to text me back? Or is like she going to text me back? Like, does she like me? Does he like me thing? When you've been friends with somebody. And this is a way to kind of get that excitement and that.
I feel like a slower pace has never hurt a relationship. You know, it just like helps you maintain your identities as individuals. Yeah. And like, I think it's great.
Sweet. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm a new fan of the show, and now I'm going to literally subscribe after this, listen to the Ashley episode. And I hope you check out Analyze This, and we'll have you on.
I would love to come on.
Yeah.
I love analyzing things.
You're pretty good at analyzing.
I can analyze whatever.
It's pretty great. For those of you curious, it's Analyze, spelled HANNAHLYZE. This, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And very soon we will have the lovely Megan as a guest. You just hit your
almost
I
made
went
it.
through the whole
You almost
fuck.
made it every episode.
You like to get up on that mic,
I do.
bro.
I talk like this because I'm like, this feels funny.
You're like, I feel safe here.
I do because it gets ASMR.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
You made it.
Let's do
like an hour
That
and
was
a half.
the most I've ever made it.
That's the longest.
I'm never not going to hit it with my teeth. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe on the Apple Podcast app or SoundCloud or wherever you get your podcast. Don'tBlameMe.show. And if you're watching it on YouTube, do that. And then if you're listening to it, you can go watch the video version. And jury's still out if you'll be a floating head. We don't know yet.
We'll
see.
I'm pretty stoked. If I am, that's fine by me. And if you're on YouTube, if you're on YouTube and you want to find more of me across the internet in general, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Harto, Harto.
Woo, woo. Woo, woo. And Melissa and I are walking around in the real world. Mm-hmm. Actually, I'm rarely walking around in the real world unless it's Whole Foods.
Yeah, let's be real, guys.
I'm in my head,
except for when I come to podcasts.
Exactly.
Oh no, I have to take my car in.
Oh yeah, you do have to do that. You can check Melissa and I. Our socials will be down below as well. And if you guys have something going on in your life that you want some advice on for a future episode, please leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can record a audio file and email it to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And these were some really great calls. So also if you listened to this episode and you heard these calls, they were concise. They explained a lot. Mm-hmm. If you want to model your calls after these are the star pupils. I mean, that's been a lot of
Do you have a
calls.
time limit? Like
3 minutes.
3 minutes is
Someone
a long
DM'd me
time,
and she was
girl.
like, I can't get under like 15 minutes. And I literally responded, I go, girl, I promise you.
You can.
I promise you that whatever you're saying, she's like, I just really feel like you explain. Like, you say it one time, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get this one thing.
I think that's what... It might have been the same person because she DM'd me too. And she was like, I can't get under 15 minutes. And she's like, and I hadn't responded yet. And then she's like, what happens if it doesn't? She called in and she got cut off. And she's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, that's what I responded. She was like, well, I actually got cut off. I'm like, no, you will. Like, we won't know the end of it. So finish the story.
Also, if you're listening and you're like, oh no, but it's different because of this or because of that, stop.
Nah.
Just even if we don't have the details exactly right, just get out of it what you can. It's not about making us understand all the complexities.
Because we'll get it. That's the thing. I mean, if you want to pre-order my book, haha, you're not special. No offense, you're not that special. Like these issues that everybody has.
Is that the name of the book?
Yes, that's the name of my book. It's called
I thought you were saying like you of all the people who also want to pre-order my book.
You're all not special.
No, but that's the thing. With the calls especially, we get so many repeat calls, and so many times in the repeat calls, people are like, I just feel like I'm the only other person who's ever gone through this. I'm like, no, there's like 19 that are exactly like this. So know that you're not special. We'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Also, don't like preface it with things like this is going to be so long. Like you've wasted time there. You could have been filling in the story.
Don't tell me it's going to be long.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys next week. Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, produced, directed, and edited by Melissa DeMont. Post-production sound by Chris Henry, production assistant Julie Carley, and music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter. I'll see you guys next week, and don't blame me if your life, completely fucks up before then. Oh.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.